back to Chris Caruso Bass Guitars. Here we are in the shop, my garage. And standing here by the Bauer bandsaw. I also have my router table hooked up there behind it. And what we're going to do today is get started on the neck. I do have my center piece of wood marked 1/4 inch over what the final width is going to be. That will allow me to joint both sides of it since this is the centerpiece. I'm also going to need to joint the inside edge of both of the outside pieces, and then we'll be able to get ready to glue them up. If you like this type of content, make sure that you like the video, go ahead and comment on it, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any more content, including the next parts of the Time Machine 5 build or any other new posts, new builds that are coming up on Chris Caruso Bass Guitars. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and make some noise here. And I'll turn on the vacuum, I'll turn on the bandsaw, turn on my light here, and then we'll go ahead and rip this center section down to 1/4 inch over size. Okay, so as you can see, I've already started jointing this and smoothing out the bandsaw cuts, and we've got it now at 1 1/4 inch. So we're going to go ahead and start the actual joining process, and this is where I'm going to show the camera. And on a router table, using it as a jointer is with the 2 adjustable sides to this fence. This side, the outfeed side, is 0.03 inches this way. So it's just going to take off a 32nd or so of material. And basically what it is these 3 shims are inside here. Now to set this up, you got to set, you want it level. You want to set it up on both sides. Now, once I've got it set up where the distance from the blade to the wood is good, then we take this off of here. So now this is closer to the blade. This puts it into the blade, and then this side of the fence catches the exact amount that you're taking off. So this will allow me to joint both sides of this and get it down so we have absolutely smooth and flat gluing surfaces to glue this up. And the center piece of this is now going to be 1 1/8 wide. So that's the goal. And again, time to make some noise. Okay, and so that's basically the idea. I'm not going to continue filming that, obviously. I mean, you see what's going on here. What I need to do is joint or flatten both sides of this center beam, and then the 2 outside beams, I'll need to flatten the sides that are gluing up to this. Well, all right, we're back inside. I have my center board down to its final dimensions, 1 1/8 inch. And it's jointed on both sides. For the outside boards, I just jointed this inside section that's going to mate up with the center section. Okay. I also clamped them together and drilled 3 holes for our reference pins, 2 that are going to be in the body area, so they're going to be hidden, and 1 up here that is going to be in the waist area, so there's no reason to worry about that. And then I have 1/4 inch dowels, maple dowels that I'm going to insert and glue into the holes. All right, so I have 10 clamps. I have the 4-bar clamps already set up. That's going to take care of the brunt of the work. And then I have this clamp that's already up here that'll be in the center. And then I have 2 that are going to be over here and 2 that are going to be over here. So actually 9 clamps, my correction. And we'll get this going. I have a little paper plate here and I have a roller here for the glue application. Again, we're going to be using Tight Bond 1 as always. And let's see what we can do here. Load up our roller. Just like painting, except we're painting glue. All right. Go ahead and lay those down, and we'll put some glue in here to start with. Okay. And then we're going to make a little bit of noise here. Okay. Let's put some glue on there. We want enough there that it's going to be able to seal this. And also we want to see some squeeze out as well. So I don't want to be starving any glue joints here. Yeah. Okay. 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 All right. We're back out here in the garage in the shop. We now have the neck blank unbolted, and we can see a little bit of wobble there. Well, we're about to take care of that. Right now it is 48 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 2.5 inches deep. And it needs to be, it's going to end up being 3 1/8 wide at the heel and 1 3/4 up here. And then the actual neck thickness will be 2 inches. I'm going to flatten this side. Okay, that side's already flat, so that's good. So we're going to put that, and we're going to hit this side first because this is already, that other side's already flat. All right, so let me go ahead and cut away here, and I'll get my flattening jig back up here and the router all set up, and we'll be good to go. All right, here we go. We have the flattening jig set up. I got my router set up, and as you can see, right now it's clearing the neck blank. So what I want to do is lower this bit until it touches, just touches the wood. Lock it in. All right, let's make some noise. Okay. So that was pass one. And as you can see, it's a little bit messy. We're going to get covered with sawdust here. That's for sure. And I cannot get the hole blank because it's longer than the jig is. So I'll flip this over and then hit this little bit here as well. And so that you can see the one side being flattened. Okay, so now we have it flipped. You see that the side that I previously routed is down here. And this is the end that we didn't route. So now I'm going to go ahead and route this to be even with this, and then we'll be good to flip it over. All right, so that's how we do that. And like I said, I'm just going to keep on going and flipping it and getting it down to flattening both sides and both faces. Right now they're going to be referencing in each other, and we'll get this down to its 2-inch final thickness. All right, well, we're outside. Just to be a little bit on the safe side, I'm going to be thicknessing my rosewood fretboard. It is currently 0.40 inches, and it needs to be 0.25. So I have it on the Rockler flattening jig. I've got my Bosch router in place and ready to rock and roll. Wearing long sleeves. I'm going to have my nitrile gloves on. I have my shop vac behind me, so that after I get done with a pass, I can bring it up and take care of whatever shavings are on the board. And the most important thing is that my respirator has the VOC cartridges and the P100 pre-filters. So there we go. You're not going to be able to hear me. So as we've been doing in this video series for Time Machine 5, basically I'm just going to show one pass on it because you get the idea. It's going to be one pass, flip it, do another pass, and then if I need a third pass, I'll do that as well. But I can show you how it's done here on the first pass, and then we can take it offline from there. So, all right, respirator on, and here we go. All right, make some noise. Alright, so that is how that's done. And I have my calipers here. I'm going to measure thickness. And like I said, I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 passes. So on my Rockler slab flattening jig. Alright, so here we are back out in the garage, the shop. Have my router table set up. And I have a makeshift fence set up because the fence that comes with this does not actually fit at the 2-inch mark, which right now the Time Machine 5 neck blank is 4 inches wide. So I'm going to be routing the truss rod channel today as well as the carbon fiber channels. And so the center point of 4 inches is, of course, 2 inches. So you can see, I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not, but I'm set up at 2 inches. I've already ran a test piece, a scrap piece, to make sure that I'm at 2 inches and I'm dead center. I also have a stop piece here and a stop line drawn on the plate, so I know where I'm going to stop. This is a 24-inch truss rod. So 24 inches from the nut to here is where I'm going to stop routing for the truss rod. This is going to take several passes. This needs to be 3/8 deep, but I'm not going to take 3/8 all at once. Now, the other interesting thing is here that I still have all this extra here at the end as well. And I'm going to leave that there for a reason, which you'll see later on in the build process. So I'm just going to route straight through and then on down to 26 inches. And we'll get her done there. So let's flip this over and get her done. Make some noise. Okay, so that is 1/8. So I got 1/8 done. Now I need to get it to 3/8. And again, I'm just going to sneak up on it. So, okay, and now for the adjustment nut, we need a 3/8 inch hole. So since I can't reach that with because I have all this extra on here, I'm just going to go ahead and route it, and that will give me the same thing. Okay, and 2 inches past the nut line. So there we go. Voila. All right, so now I have the channel bit back in here, and I have the fence adjusted to do one of the carbon fiber rods, and then we'll switch it to do the other one. Now for this, I'm actually going to go 1 inch past the nut. So a total of 19 inches, because the carbon fiber is 18. So if I set this on 10, then down here at 29, gives me 19 inches. Yeah, we'll fix that. That is what you call router overcut. Thankfully, it is not a major concern, as well as the fact that this base is for me. Time Machine 4 is for sale. Time Machine 5 is mine. Okay. Okay. Don't you move. There we go. That's a beautiful thing. Yep. And this will be filled with epoxy and some of this maple sawdust. And I'll be using that West Systems structural epoxy. So nothing, again, nothing major, nothing we can't fix. And it's, I referenced in the Time Machine 4 series, I referenced the guys from down in Florida that did the rattle can videos. And they said, there's no such thing as a perfect build. You're going to make mistakes. The mark of a good luthier is, how do you fix them? How do you get past them? So, yep, this was not a mistake as far as the routing technique. It was a mistake on limitation on these clamps. So they will be replaced for my next build. Absolutely. You won't see these clamping my fence up for next build. And for this build, like I said, it's absolutely repairable, not a problem, definitely not a start over. So, all right, let's get set up for the other cut and we'll get that going. We're all set up for the second carbon fiber. Voila. Now I just want to check that. Boom. Beautiful. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here on getting this neck completed. Right now, we're going to go ahead and not only do this little repair here for the fence slippage, and I promised you I was going to get new clamps. I also went ahead and plugged the ends that are going to be right at the headstock end. And once I cut off this extra piece here, that, like I said, we'll get to that when we get there. And then I'm also going to patch this up here with this epoxy and also some maple dust inside the table here. So again, like I said, this is not a deal breaker at all. This is, again, just a mark of, how we're going to get over it, how we're going to fix it. And we're about to show you. So we're using West Systems epoxy to glue in the carbon fiber support rods, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I put 5 in, and then I put another 5 in, so there was a total of 10. And I've got this all mixed up here now. And I'm going to use this brush because I want to just get a little coating on the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and get a coating on top here as well. All right. Okay, and then we just want to get a little bit on here, and we're going to cap this off. I already put this in before I started the camera, and because we have this wood patch up here that we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start this cap down here, or this encapsulation as they call it. All right, that's looking pretty good there. Got it all nice and encapsulated in the West epoxy. I want to get the extra off of the neck now, so it's less sanding to do tomorrow. when this is all set up. Now what we want to do is we're going to open this up here, mix up a very small batch of this. Okay. And I'm going to put some sawdust in there, some maple dust. And then we've basically got a plug of maple and epoxy. And that is how you do that. Well, we're back outside, again, for safety reasons. We're working with rosewood. And I have my string pluckery radius jig out here. And we're going to radius the fretboard. Once again, I'm going to put the respirator on, again, just for safety. And my nitrile gloves. Okay, this is our first time using this string pluckery jig to do a radius. And what you want to do is get that down to where the bit is just making contact with the fretboard. And then as I go across, we're going to go across, and we're going to go up and back and up and back and up and back and up and back and up and back, etc., 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 till we get all the way across. And that will mean that the fretboard is then radiused. And we have the 16-inch radius, again, since we're doing the bass guitar. Okay, now that's how it's done. We can see that it's not quite there yet. There's a little ridge here that we want to take care of. There's another one back here. But what that is from, and that's the only thing that I noticed so far that I didn't like, is that as these wheels roll over your chipping, that may be why it's doing this. Like I said, first time using this jig, taking care of our wood chippings here so that we're running flat on there. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that here off camera. You've seen how this works. Other than that, I do like this jig. I bought this on my own with my own money, not sponsored, but definitely a worthwhile investment, good addition to the shop. Okay, so there we have, it is now completely radiused. And the interesting thing, now you still want to go over it. I do have my 16-inch Stumac radius sanding block. I'm going to go over and make sure that there's no tool marks on here at all. But also, as you can see, this is my 16-inch call, fret press call. And just like I did on Time Machine 4, we slide all the way up the neck. You'll see that that is a 16-inch, perfect 16-inch radius. Just what we wanted to see. Just wanted to mention the platform that you're seeing here is 3/4 inch plywood, 1/2 inch plywood. That gets me to 1 1/4 inches. Then we have my 1/4 inch thick to start with fretboard, and that puts it up to 1.5 inches. And that's exactly what you need for the radiusing jig to work. You need 1.5 inches to the top of your material that the sled is going over. And then you get your, and then this radius that's here, this radius block that's here, is what's going to be translated into here perfectly. All right. Well, that's about all the time we got for on part 2, the neck build process. When we come back on part 3, we're going to go ahead and do all the fretting. But before we can do that, we're going to cut the fret slots and get it glued up, and then go ahead and do all the fret work. If you like this kind of content, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other builds and content that comes up, including part 3 of the Time Machine 5. In the meantime, between time, thanks for tuning in to Chris Caruso Bass Guitars.